Okay, guys, I'm here for my review of WrestleMania IV, the follow-up to what is widely considered by people my age, early 30s as such, to be the greatest WrestleMania of all time. The WWE followed it up with WrestleMania IV. A WrestleMania that has the most matches in the history of WrestleMania on it at 16. Now, with this WrestleMania, a little backstory, WWE, there was a match that took place on February the 5th, 1988. It was Hulk Hogan vs. Andre the Giant, a rematch from WrestleMania III for the WWE Championship. Andre won that match, but Hogan's shoulder was clearly up, and it was a twin referee scandal with the Hebners, Earl and Dave. So, WWE President Jack Tunney forfeited and vacated the championship and deemed that at WrestleMania IV, the championship would be on the line in a one-night single elimination tournament. I don't like one-night tournaments, because it leads to way too many matches on any pay-per-view. 16 matches on a pay-per-view, even a 4-hour pay-per-view, is not good. Now, I don't think on a 4-hour pay-per-view WWE should only give 8 matches on WrestleMania, but I don't think they need 16. I think they need to go in between. If you're going to have a 4-hour WrestleMania, I think the perfect number of matches is 12. And I think that's what X7 did a little bit good, because it had the right number of matches for its runtime. But I'll get to that in X7's review. So, most of these matches are tournament matches, but there are a few that are not tournament matches, like our first match. A 20-man Invitational Battle Royal in which everyone in this match was just here to get them on WrestleMania, because it's even said they have nothing else to do with WrestleMania IV, so they made a Battle Royal to get all of these guys onto this show. There were a lot of stars in this match. The Hart Foundation were in here. Hillbilly Jim was in here. You know, the Killer Bees were in this match. Sika from Wallace and Owens was in this match. The Fabulous Rougeau Brothers, the Bolsheviks, Ken Patera, a lot of guys. And George the Animal Steel was technically in the match, or at least, well, he was supposed to be in the match. He was announced, but he was on the floor and never got into the ring. So, the winner of this Battle Royal is Bad News Brown, last name Bret Hart. Although, since George the Animal Steel was introduced and the bell rang, he never got into the ring, which means he was never eliminated. And Jesse Ventura keeps bringing this up on commentary, and it keeps getting ignored. Girl Monsoon keeps saying, well, he was in there for the introduction. No, he wasn't, Monsoon. He was on the floor when the bell rang. He was not in the ring. So technically, George Steele was never eliminated from this match. And honestly, if that's not going to go anywhere, you should never do a spot like that. And it never went anywhere, so they just eliminated George Steele because he never got in the ring. But that's not how a Battle Royal works anyway. So, whatever. Bad News Brown wins, and then whatnot. I give this match 1.5 stars. It's a Battle Royal, they're not 5-star classics. So, then the tournament kicks off. Our first round match. It's Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Nothing special here, 1 star. DiBiase wins and advances. So then we get our second first-round match, as it's Dino Bravo versus The Rock Don Muraco. Muraco wins by DQ when Bravo shoves referee into a forearm. Okay, 1 star here for this match. So our next match is another first-round tournament match. It's Greg the Hammer Valentine versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. 3 stars. This is a good match. Valentine wins, which I actually disagree with, and that's because of the result of the next match, and I'll explain that. But 3 stars here. Next match. WWE is another first-round match, our 4th first-round match, 5th altogether match. It's the Macho Man Randy Savage battling the Natural Butch Reed. Savage wins. And this is why I think Steamboat should have beat Valentine. Because then you could have Steamboat versus Savage in the quarterfinals to be the rematch from their all-time classic WrestleMania 3 match, which if you watched my review, you know is my all-time favorite match of all time. And I think that the WWE never having them in a rematch really hurts that rivalry as a whole. And a tournament's a good way to do face-face or heel-heel, because it's a tournament. So it's a good way to do that. But, I give 1 star to that match. Next match is another first-round match in the championship tournament. The one-man gang versus Bam Bam Bigelow. This is a generic big man match that is not good. Gang wins by countout. So, yeah, half star. Next match is our final first round match. It's Jake the Snake Roberts versus Ravishing Rick Rude. 3.5 stars, goes to a 15-minute time limit draw. So they're both eliminated, and thus the one-man gang gets a bye to the semifinals. I normally am not a fan of time limit draws, but if you're going to do in a one-night tournament, you have to do them, because then if you don't, then you're adding even more matches that are unnecessary to a card. So, like I said, though, 3.5 stars. The best technical match on this show is that match. Roberts and Rude. Next match is the Ultimate Warrior versus Hercules. Half a star. It's a traditional battle of physiques. Warrior wins. He would go on, of course, to defeat the Honky Tonk Man in about 30 seconds at SummerSlam 1988, replacing Brutus Beefcake to win the IC title. So, but half star there. Next match is the quarterfinal match. Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. Both of them had gotten a bye through the first round of the tournament. Because of the February 5th incident, they gave them both a bye, and they would kick off the quarterfinals. This is a 1.5 star match. It's not as good as a match at WrestleMania 3, which, as I mentioned in WrestleMania 3's review, is not a technical match quality-wise match that reflects the rating. I gave it the rating that I gave in WrestleMania 3 because of what it set up. Because it set up and essentially made both SummerSlam and Survivor Series, well, in the order, Survivor Series and SummerSlam, off of it, in a way. But this is a 1.5 star match. Both guys are disqualified, which means the winner of the next match gets a bye to the finals. And that next match is the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase versus Don Muraco. 1 star. DiBiase wins clean with a stun gun maneuver before Steve Austin started using it. So, yes, 1 star. Next match is the final semifinal match. It's the Macho Man Randy Savage versus Greg the Hammer Valentine. 2 stars here. Not as good as Valentine's match with Steamboat, and not as good as Savage's match with Steamboat either, but a very good match. 2 stars. Savage wins. He'll face the one-man gang in the semifinal. Next match is the WWE Intercontinental Championship match. The Honky Tonk Man versus Brutus the Barber Beefcake. 1 star, Beefcake wins by DQ. I probably would have given Beefcake the championship here, but that's just me. Honky Tonk Man was kind of like what JBL was with the IC title in a way. I say that for one reason. Honky Tonk Man was IC champion to set up Ultimate Warrior being the IC champ. A lot like JBL, who was WWE champion only to set up John Cena down the line. So it's kind of like a very long-term transitional champion is what Honky Tonk Man was. Especially considering that he beat Ricky Steamboat for the championship of Next match is a 6-man tag. The Islanders and Bobby the Brain Heenan versus the British Bulldogs and Coco Beware. It's an entertaining match that goes along with the story of the match, but it's a 1-star match. Even though it is entertaining, it is a funny match that told a good story of Heenan's outfit, but man, it's 1 star as a match. So next match is the semi-final match of the tournament. Monterey Randy Savage versus the one-man gang. This is a one-star match. Savage wins by DQ because the one-man gang gets caught trying to hit Savage with Slick's cane. What a manager Slick was. You know, Slick is the only guy in professional wrestling that could take the single most racist song you could find in Jive Soul Bro and actually make it not seem offensive to anybody. And he was the Doctor of Style. That's such a great nickname, isn't it? The Doctor of Style. Now, the sad thing about Slick is he never got to manage any champion, so you can't really name him one of the great all-time WWE managers. He's not in the league of Heenan or Jimmy Hart, but he was a good manager. But I think that they should have given him somebody with a championship, and they never did. So our next match is a WWE Tag Team Championship match. It's Strikeforce versus Demolition. Strikeforce had defeated the Hart Foundation in late 1987. And Demolition had just come in, and they were pulled Mr. Fuji. And this is a 2-star match. It's not bad. It probably went on a little bit longer than it needed to, because honestly, I think Demolition just came in and crushed Strikeforce, utterly demolished them completely in a complete another squash. That's what I think would have happened, because Demolition were a Road Warrior ripoff, but that does not take away from how good of a team they were. Yes, they were a Road Warrior ripoff, no doubt about that. But they should have squashed Strikeforce here. The fact that Strikeforce had any momentum really hurts the match. Because sometimes squash matches work, and I think it would have worked better for Demolition in this had it been a squash, had they just completely destroyed Strikeforce. Especially since then you could have actually broke Strikeforce up right then at WrestleMania 4 instead of doing it the next year. In an even dumber reasoning, in something that I've always felt was kind of even dumb, was a dumb reasoning for why they broke up. Because if you would have had Demolition squash Strikeforce, you could have broke Martel and Santana off at WrestleMania 4 because Martel was upset at an other squash and assaulted Santana that way. Which could have led to Tito Santana versus Rick Martel at WrestleMania 5. We never got a solo match between Santana and Martel, so this would have been the best way to physically guarantee you get a match between Santana and Martel. Since you never got a single match to it, have Demolition completely squash Strikeforce and destroy him, and then you break Strikeforce up. And I always thought that would have been the better way to do this match, now that I got older and realized stuff. And of course, the main event is the championship finals of the tournament. It's Randy Savage and Muraco DiBiase. 2-star match. This is DiBiase's only main event of WrestleMania. It's, like I said, it's 2 stars. It's not bad, but the fact that Hogan kind of had to help Savage win, I've always think diminishes this victory for Savage. I think that you should have had Savage overcome DiBiase and Andre without needing Hogan's help. That would have helped him more than this. Hogan kind of, you know, I'm not diminishing the moment of Randy Savage winning this championship because this was his 4th match he had won. But him overcoming both DiBiase and Andre by himself without Hogan is a much better story idea, and makes you believe that Randy Savage can be a good champion. That he can overcome odds without needing help. And I think, you know, that's how I would have booked this, so not have Hogan interfere. Now, granted, I know that they were setting up the first SummerSlam main event, which was DiBiase and Andre versus Hogan and Savage. But I think you still could set that up without Hogan interfering in this match. 2 stars, though. Still an okay main event. So our total stars is 23.5 out of a possible 80. This show is an F just because of that. And yeah, I'm very aware of what I did in WrestleMania 3, that I basically threw my system out for that, of rating shows and all that, but like I said, that holds a really special place in my heart because it's my favorite WrestleMania with my favorite match on it. So that's the only time that you could say that I'm going to be biased. But I was fair to the match quality of the show. I just said why that match quality wasn't always important. So, there are some good matches on this show, and I admire that they did something new. They never did this at WrestleMania again, because like I said, it's too many matches. But, so, that's my review of WrestleMania 4. WrestleMania 5's review will probably be up Thursday, because I'm probably going to watch it on Wednesday. So, yeah, if you liked the video, hit the like button down there, hit the subscribe button down there, and thank you for watching. Bye.